Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Dave Guerra, and this is Leadership Weekly. It's a new show I'm going to launch here, and it's going to be a weekly show, and that's the intention. And with that, we're going to cover the topics of leadership as they occur in throughout the week, and of course, we're going to visit some long-standing issues in leadership, and we're going to tackle one this week, and it's going to hurt some feelings. But sometimes it's got to be done. It's got to be said because the cold hard truth sometimes is what leaders need, well, self proclaimed leaders need to hear. So be careful now. So again, it's not to single out anybody, it's not to hurt anybody's feelings, but by that notion, if you're not a good leader, then you're probably a bad manager. And that's the bottom line. So, a little bit about me, as you know, I'm a veteran. I've written a book, The Walking Leader, great to follow, and of course, historical fiction is my other pastime, and so I welcome you to follow along how you choose. So please understand that a lot of it is just based on my past experiences, my observations. I'm always observing, and constantly observing. That's what I was trying to say. And with that being said, let's have some fun, but let's learn a couple of things and let's be observant as to what's going on in the world. And so let's go with the very first thing here. It's going to be, well, this whole situation with Joe Rogan. Now, there's two sides, and, I will fight to the death for anyone to express their freedom of speech. I'll fight for your right to do that. But by also the same token, don't look to me when you're the one yelling fire in the movie theater and there is no fire. Because, again, you're going to get what you deserve at that point. So understand that there's a time and a place for everything. And on leadership side, leaders, you cannot afford to appear to go against the grain for the sake of going against the grain, unless the going against the grain is exactly the right thing you must do. But if you're just going against the grain because, hey, I'm going to yell fire, and as a leader, they're going to listen to me. Well, the sad thing is that yes, as a leader, they're going to listen to you. They will listen to you. You put yourself in that position. You get recognized as a leader. Well, guess what? They're going to look at you. They're going to follow you. They're going to go in that direction. And when it doesn't turn out right, guess what? People are going to jump ship, and that's just the way it is. Things go sideways. Things just go, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. There's nothing you can do to prevent that. Well, yeah, there was, but you should have thought of that a long time ago, because as they say, hindsight is 2020. And while hindsight may be 2020, sometimes as a leader, you got to look across the entire spectrum. You can't just say, "Oh, well, this is my way of being. This is where I'm at. This is what's going on." Well, guess what? Yeah, you should say that. But what I'm getting at is also understand that sometimes those that are coming on board are looking for a direction, someone to lead them, someone they can follow, someone that will take them to where they need to be. And usually leaders, when people follow you, it's because they want you to take them to a higher place, a better place, elevate them, and they want to feel good around you. Because when they understand you, they feel good around you. And I've said that I don't know how many times. When people understand me, they start feeling good about me. But if they refuse, or you're leading them down the wrong path, or something in a direction that they don't want to go to, or a direction that they've left, and now you're forcing them back into that direction that they said, what, no more, then guess what? You're going to lose something there. You're going to lose something there. So the leadership aspect, again, circling back to that, is to ensure that no matter what, you are aware that you are a leader of many, not just a few. You're a leader of many, and you have to take into consideration that yes, you have already set your standards, you already set your ways, but understand not everybody else is. Not everybody else will think like you now, but not everybody else will behave like you. Not but people may listen to you, but they might not 100% agree with you. So something to think about. Okay, another topic, big one, international topic. This is bigger than Joe Rogan. Sorry, Joe, it is. It's bigger than you, buddy. And it's the Ukraine situation, and how everything feeds off each other, and how everything goes from there. I was watching this TikTok from reporter, a self-proclaimed reporter, but one that's not afraid to make the news instead of reporting it. And this individual was reporting on how the economy and all the global markets are eyes are on the Ukraine, eyes are on Russia and what their actions are going to do because well Russia is a top producer of fuel, gas, natural gas, and there's that huge pipeline that runs from Russia to Germany and what's going to happen there if they invade and all of that. Well, again, folks, there's other things going on in the world. Yes, I know it's important, it's timely, it's relevant, it's sizable, it's understood, but we can't get bogged down with that thing while there's something else going on in the Pacific Ocean, while there's stuff going on around the Ring of Fire. If you haven't paid attention, there's a lot of earthquakes going on, a lot of natural disasters going on as well. Is this leading up to something else? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do want to keep an eye on everything. So as an individual, current future leaders, it's your job to calm those rough waters. It's your job to say bring a little stillness and calm into the conversation. It is your job to ensure that people's questions, no matter what they are answered. I mean, I had someone approach me that the Russian leader was my goodness, what I'm trying to say, he was threatening to use nuclear weapons, and then nobody wins. But that wasn't the case. It's on the table, but where they heard this narrative was not from where you should be hearing those narratives. This was kind of filtered down. It's kind of like that telephone game. Somebody says something and it works its way around the room, and by the time it gets back to you, it's something completely different. Well, the same thing. You as a leader must understand and know that when it comes to that narrative, do what you can, not to get bogged down or sucked into it and into that and start picking sides. But no, it's to understand and look at the top tier and say, hey, you know what? Nobody ever mentioned nuclear weapons. I don't know who you're hearing this from, but dispel that myth, bust that myth, definitely. But get out there and understand that, hey, the world, everybody's watching. And it's your job as a leader to kind of shift through all of that, sift through it, shift through it, slide through it, adjust through it. Whatever you do, look for the gems and get rid of the nonsense, get rid of the rocks, get rid of the mud, get rid of the dirt, and look for those gems and let them know, look, hey, yes, while this may be going on, this is not the level that anybody wants to go to. And trust me, nobody wants to go to that level. So again, as leaders, do your homework, read the newspaper. I know if there's much as you can. Go online, watch on cable TV or on streaming, whatever. But get informed, and not just one source. Oh, please, not just one source, because sometimes some source is saying the same thing the other source is saying, the other source is saying. But sometimes you got to look for those little nuances in real, true reporting, where individuals, they themselves, are not out there making the news because the narrative or the truth doesn't fit their angle. So be careful, but also do your job to dispel myths, squash those rumors. And again, this is not just on a global scale, but also on a business scale, on a local scale. Things are not as bad as they seem. They will get better, I guarantee you. But leaders, start doing your part. Alrighty, so now we're at that point in the show where I'm going to talk about topics of leadership, topics of concern for up and coming leaders, current, future leaders, and those individuals that are self-proclaiming themselves as leaders because either they've moved into a position or they've attained a couple of little letters after their name or whatever. And I'm not minimizing any of that, but understand that none of that equals leader. None of that equals leader. Sure, you might have a degree, a diploma, a doctorate, but again, congratulations, kudos. It's a lot of hard work. I know I've got 2 of those 3. It's a lot of work, but understanding that just because you have those does not automatically make you a leader. There's a lot of work behind becoming a leader. And one of those, sadly, is micromanaging. You got to get rid of it. You can't have it. You cannot be an effective leader if all you are is a you're stuck in a manager mindset, and you're stuck in a micromanager mindset where you have to have your finger in everybody's pie. It doesn't work that way. You've got people that you've hired, you've got people that were there prior to you, and the success of that organization, that division, that department, that group, that team has been there longer than you've been there. And now you arrive, and because you've been bestowed whatever honors and whatever has onto you, again, kudos to you for putting into work and making that happen. But you don't automatically get tagged as a leader. You have to earn that right. You have to earn the title of leader. And who gives you that? Well, it's not the people that hired you. It's the people that you're responsible for. Exactly. That's who you're going to be taking care of. And that's who's going to take care of you, because remember, those people, those individuals, those human beings that you're micromanaging, they can do one of two things. And I guarantee you one of two things will happen. They'll make you look good, like they make the predecessor look good and everybody else before them look good. Or, number two, you're going to sink. You're going to sink like a stone. And folks, it's that simple. But micromanage, and I've had my share of micromanagers. It's insane. They know enough of your job just to be dangerous. I mean, fully, completely dangerous. They believe that because of who they are, where they are, what they've achieved, that just by magic, waving their hand or doing a little something or another, things are going to happen. Doors will magically swing open. It doesn't work that way. And how come you're not doing that? And how come you're not taking care of this? And why are you doing it this way and not that way? Again, that micromanaging has to be out the window. Get it gone. That's the only way. Individuals, especially those, once you recognize that you're in that level, you've achieved that level of micromanagement, the only way to get out of it is to stop it. You have to stop it. You have to back out of it. You have to let trust settle in. And trust not of the individuals that are there before you, not of the individuals that are there supporting the operations. No, not them. You have to trust yourself. You have to let go of that fear of whatever you have, that anxiety or whatever you have of not trusting people, and that you have to have your finger in everybody's pie because someone is out to get you. No one's out to get you. If those individuals working there have pride in what they do and they wholeheartedly believe in what they do, guess what? They don't have time to make you look bad. They don't have time for that. You're the only one that's making them look bad, because you start putting your finger in their pies. You start making them second guess themselves. You start taking away their confidence. You start chipping away, and then, well, I knew it. Look at this individual. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. And folks, that's micromanagers right there. You cannot be a micromanager. Current leaders, you know who I'm talking about because you've already had them. Future leaders, you're probably experiencing one or two. I've had several. It's been crazy. And, I started slipping into that. When I was in the Army, I started slipping into that micromanaging. And I had this great squad leader who took me aside and said, Guerra, that's not it. That's not the way you do it. And boom, just like that. But he spotted it right off the bat. And he was to this day, Staff Sergeant Williams, greatest mentor I ever had in the military. Greatest one. I've had other individuals, leaders, mentors, guides, but Staff Sergeant Williams, because he took that time. He didn't have to. But he did. And he reached out, plucked me from the abyss, or from before I slipped into that abyss, because it is an abyss. Once you're in it, there's almost no way out, but, well, you can make it. It's going to be a lot of hard work. It's a long, hard path out. It's a long journey out, but you have to consciously put in that effort. And that conscious effort is avoiding putting your finger in everybody's pie, making people second guess themselves, gaslighting people. You have to avoid that. That's the only way you're going to go from, just a mediocre manager to a great leader. And being a great leader, that's really where it's at, because, again, as a great leader, they're going to look up to you. They want to emulate you. They want to be like you. They want to be that kind of leader that they like to follow, because at that point, they like following you. So Look at this. Take a self-assessment. See if you're being a micromanager, and if you are, let's go. Let's nip it. I'm telling you right now, whoever you are, that's not the way you lead. That is definitely not the way you lead. And that's bad management too, because again, you're not letting people do the job they're hired to do. You're making them second guess themselves. And again, that's not the sign of a good leader. So start trusting yourself enough to believe in yourself to get away from that nonsense. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We're at the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Everybody, let everybody know the show is on. I'll be back next week. We'll talk again current events, how they impact leadership, or how leadership impacts them. I'm trying to find some of those. And of course, topics on leadership and things that, well, like I said, sometimes we don't want to hear, but we have to hear them. Because that's the only way we start recognizing, well, maybe, you know what? If it's happening out there, it's probably happening here. And that's the bottom line. So until next time, like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, leave comments down below what you thought of this episode. And I'll talk to you next week. This is Dave, and this is The Weekly Leader.